Well, Kiev says the Malaysian airliner didn't veer off course before going down, contradicting evidence provided by the Russian Defence Ministry. Meanwhile, amid conflicting claims and a lack of clear proof, the media are stirring up talk of a new Cold War, jumping at any opportunity to point the finger. Yan Chikian has this report.
BBC Russian deleted an online report by their correspondent from eastern Ukraine. It was recorded by Olga Ivshina, who went to the site where Ukrainian intelligence says rebels fired a missile at the Malaysian Airlines plane. She took the photo showing a rising plume of smoke, which the Ukrainian service provided as evidence of where the missile was launched. The reporter identified at least 2 other potential sources for such a plume in the area, including a coal mine nearby. She also asked locals what they saw in the sky that day.
There were 2 explosions in the sky. We saw how the plane broke apart with pieces falling everywhere.
And there was another military jet flying near. Everyone saw it.
Yes, everyone saw it, flying a little below the passenger plane.
We heard explosions in the sky, and then the plane suddenly turned around, changed its flight path and headed their way.
When the video was taken off the site, many internet users were keen to know why. The BBC said the report did not live up to the editorial values of BBC. Some journalists have taken sides to the point that when the Ukrainian president said this,
Ukrainian nation now are united. We don't have any conflict inside the Ukrainian nation.
He was not picked up on it, even as pictures and video pour in of war raging in the country's east. The U.S. media is once again taking aim at RT, or what CNN discussed as the impact of Russia's media machine.
For all the talk about propaganda, which by definition is, misinformation, I would say Russia's winning.
Chris Cuomo and RT's Peter Lavelle became a YouTube hit after a heated interview.
Maybe you haven't been following it, but the U.S. is actually coming out with a lot of its own intelligence that connects what happened to MH17 to the acts of Russian militants and perhaps to the involvement of Russia in either training, equipping, or maybe even assisting in this horrible operation of bringing down this plane.
What forensic evidence are you talking about? What forensic evidence are you referring to? Twitter?
They are releasing intelligence information about the trajectory. No, not Twitter. I do not think, Peter, this is something to be flip about. 298 people lost their lives. Let's not play politics.
I think the U.S. State Department has been very flippant about this. Very flippant about it.
A narrative is being pushed in the media that clearly spells Cold War II. The Russian president is vilified on the covers of major magazines and newspapers. His personality is the main focus of media attention. This Newsweek article, titled "Inside the Bulletproof Bubble of the West's Public Enemy Number 1, begins by looking into what Vladimir Putin eats for breakfast. CNN draws a connection between the Russian president's photo at a church and the downing of the Malaysian airliner.
And global outrage grew. Putin tried to appear pious, photographed praying at an Orthodox church. The Russian president continuing his drumbeat, blaming Ukraine and its Western backers.
No one should and no one has the right to use this tragedy to achieve their own selfish political goals. These events should not divide but unite people.
By fixing its gaze on the Russian president, the media has excelled at what it does best, acting as judge and jury and simplifying a complex situation by focusing on just one person. Ganesh Chagyan, RT, Washington, D.C.